I thought, because I thought you were a Mike Flanagan guy.
No, I
Dr.
don't really
Sleep?
like Dr. Sleep that much. No.
What?
No.
Do we have? I don't think we've talked about it either. I thought.
Is this a Mandela effect thing? Like you thought I liked him? No.
No, I thought we talked about it because like you liked Dr. Sleep. I remember us talking about it. This
No.
is, you know what? I'm glad we started a podcast. Yeah.
Welcome to the SomeDamnMovies podcast. Just a heads up, we don't shy away from spoilers. Here's your warning for the following movies: Nosferatu, Polar Express, Elf, Home Alone, and maybe some other Christmas classics. Enjoy. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the SomeDamnMovies podcast. This is episode 8. All right, so you're probably wondering why there's a second episode of the pod released this week. It's pretty simple, guys. Nosferatu is the biggest movie in theaters, and we got to play those YouTube numbers the best we can, okay? This is a small channel. This is a small operation. We got to try our best to get as many views as possible. So we hope you enjoy this episode. We both got to see it in theaters, so it doesn't happen too much these days. And so just really excited to get this episode out. Really excited for this movie. We hope you enjoy. Peace. And I do want to say every time, holy shit, we made it to 8 episodes. How wonderful. I'm your host, Jared, and next to me is my boy, Ian. We're here every other week with a movie podcast. Yeah, what's been happening with you? I mean, on our end, what is it, December 29th, so Christmas
So it's
just
December
passed.
29th. This should be coming out this coming up week because we tweaked some things. What's been happening? So again, hi, I'm Ian. And just like how Jared says every episode how impressed he is with each new episode, I'm going to probably always say there was already a warning, but like spoilers are going to be coming up. So just like prepare your butthole for that. How was the last week? So we just got through Christmas. Christmas was fun. It was my first Christmas as a dad. That being said, she doesn't know anything. She's only 5 months old. So she said it was fun. It was a cute Christmas. We had matching pajamas, the whole shebang. We did watch, I ended up doing a quick blitz of some of my favorite Christmas movies. So that was fun. I don't want to dive into those too heavily.
You were hitting me with a lot of texts about, I just watched this, I just watched that.
Yeah, so like the ones I think this year's roundup, which I need to update my Letterboxd. There might be a link to that below, because that's the only social media platform we really care about. I'll be real. I think we went through Red 1. I know you were like, I don't like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I refuse,
and that's fine. Like everyone's allowed to feel like that. It was fun. I thought it was fun. I recommend it. Then we went through Elf, which okay. I think Elf is fine. Like it's okay.
I've been like every year. I actually like it a lot less every year I watch it.
That's kind of maybe not a lot less, but every year I watch it. It's one of Jess's favorites. My wife, Jess.
It's like kind of annoying.
And it's like I just don't like. I'll be real. I just don't think I like Will Ferrell all that much. I think Will Ferrell.
That's a hot take.
I think his humor was a lot funnier when I was younger. I think going back and watching some of that stuff is just like it is really juvenile, and I do kind of think that he's not one note. It's just it's weird. He's kind of one note, but they always put him into different. Like roles, right? Like it's like from ever since the SNL Spartan skit, all the way to shit. What was the last thing he even did? I don't know, Two Guys maybe with Mark Wahlberg. No, that was ages ago. But I don't know current what he's been doing other than he showed up on some shows.
I mean, he did that movie with Kevin Hart where he's like a rich guy and then he goes to prison or something. And then
Get Hard, yeah,
he did that.
Yeah,
I think he's probably done some other stuff. He has that one that I actually kind of liked where he was a little bit more serious in it. What was that called?
I kind of want to see him like acting more, so I think I have watched that one. But
I would like to see him do like sort of an Adam Sandler where like 99% of his movies are those shitty movies that he makes with his friends.
Yeah, but like there's a couple
obviously they're having fun and
like,
making money.
Yeah.
But then he does like something with the Safdie brothers, or Punch Drunk Love or something with PTA.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. Because I think he actually can be a good actor.
Yeah,
I think like Elf-wise, like I don't see how anybody else could have done that. Like he was perfect for it.
He was perfect.
And like he's good as that role.
I just don't think Elf is really. I don't know. Like it's fun, but I followed this up. So we talked about it earlier. I think on an earlier episode I watched Gremlins this year. Finally, it was a ton of fun.
Finally, yes.
We also ended up watching Home Alone. I watched Home Alone 1 and 2, which, bro,
Bangers.
Christopher Columbus. I'll tell you what, you give Christopher Columbus and Christmas like a moment, they're gonna do something.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed those, and then we ended it with the Polar Express, which that one's a hot take. People are like pretty mid on that because of I love the Polar Express. I understand why people don't like it, maybe because of like the dated, CGI, like graphics, whatever. It's a little uncanny valley to say the least, but I really enjoyed the book when I was younger, when it came out. I thought it was very nice. I think it's it's steeped in Christmas, right? It's all about believing. And every year I watch it, I love it, except one specific part in the movie, and that is Robert Zemeckis. I'm going on record right now. Why the fuck did you put Aerosmith in this movie? Why? Every year I watch this. I told Jess this year, I was like, I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna edit this movie. I'm gonna go in. I'm just gonna chop out that part, and this movie would be 100% better. And it's only like a 5-second scene. But the thing is, and this year I paid attention to it more. But like the whole point of it is like before the Aerosmith scene, which if you guys don't know, there's just a gratuitous, and I mean it when I say gratuitous, just elf concert, like they're partying for Christmas and Aerosmith's there playing a song called I'm on Top of the World or some shit. It has like this heartfelt moment of the main character believing again, right? Like he grabs the bell, he's shaking it, he doesn't hear it, and he's like, I believe. It's like this very sentimental, cute moment, and then he shakes it and he hears it again, right? Like Santa gave this to him. So he believes in Christmas again. And then like everyone's rejoicing because then Santa leaves, and then fucking insert Aerosmith, and then after that he's getting back onto the train, the Polar Express, and the conductor types it with a freaking hole punch, types believe in there, and he goes back home and he believes in Christmas again. And then you just put this gratuitous fucking scene in between it. So Robert Zemeckis, I'll never forgive you for that, honestly. Like if I met you in real life, I would look at you and say, why did you do that? Were you paid? It's very weird, but anyway, I closed out.
I would say thank you to Back to the Future.
I wouldn't tell him thank you for that either, but we're not going to get into that in this episode because we have bigger things to talk about. I thought we've already talked about that too, but like, we will get there. Anyway, so that was my like roundup. I'm kind of upset that I didn't watch the Christmas Carol this year, like Muppets Christmas Carol. Oh, I watched the Muppets Christmas movie though.
Okay.
Yeah, so we watched the Muppets Christmas movie, and then just watched the Grinch. So there were still Christmas movies that were watched and that were enjoyed.
You watched Klaus, right?
Oh, I did watch Klaus. Yeah, that was true. Yeah, Klaus was great. Netflix.
That's
Netflix.
That's the new banger of the.
That 100% is like Klaus is certified. That SomeDamnMovies certified like Christmas banger.
It's good.
Yeah. I honestly, all I can say, it's good. Like, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I love it. I think, it's one of my new favorites. My Christmas season roundup is kind of lame this year. A lot of it was just watching some of those classic like little shorts and stuff, like the original like Grinch, Mickey's Christmas Carol, which actually was my first time. It was pretty cute, but again, it was like a short one. Like I even watched like Little Drummer Boy.
What about Charlie Brown?
Did watch Charlie Brown. That one's actually pretty damn good. I did like Charlie Brown Christmas. So those ones I actually ended up not rating like any hearts. Like I like them, but I just felt naughty to rate them any stars.
Yeah, they're kind of. I think they're agnostic of a rating. They're just like.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of like what makes it a classic, right? Like you like putting a rating on it is like they're just staples of the season.
But like I ended up like watching Harold and Kumar or something like just like the silly shit. I watched that. I watched that Carry On. It's called Carry On.
I wanted to watch that today
with Taron Egerton.
Yeah,
it's not terrible. It's the dialogue is awful. I don't know. It's fun. It's fine. Like Jason Bateman's fine. Taron's fine. I think the rest of the cast is just kind of meh. Like it's fun. Yeah.
Oh, I also watched.
It's hard to really explain. It's bad.
The trailer says it all for me. I was taking a dump this morning and it popped up on my reels and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. But Jess wants. Yeah, I watched. Jess likes Taron Egerton a lot, so
yeah,
we're gonna watch it. But
I watched that A Bad Mom's Christmas as well.
I'll say this. You said what?
A Bad Mom's Christmas.
Oh, Bad Mom's Christmas. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh God. I will give this one a shout out because it's also lesser known. It's definitely feels a little like, I wouldn't say mass produced, a little forced, but it's still a lot of fun. But I did watch 8-Bit Christmas and we talked about that a little bit. Yeah, I think 8-Bit Christmas is quite good, especially for a Max original. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't put it up there as a Christmas banger like we do Klaus. Klaus, yes, when we say Christmas banger, right? We're talking about this is on the list of like the yearly watch, right?
I think it will be there.
Klaus
for sure every
is
year.
For sure there. That being said, I appreciated 8-Bit Christmas because while 8-Bit Christmas was just trying to be a Christmas story. A more modern and contemporary Christmas story, in my opinion. Yeah. Trying to do like the kind of like the outrageous, like ridiculous kind of scenarios with like the parents and the family, like where like the dad is just renovating the house constantly and like it very, I don't know how you'd put it, but like like whenever you get the leg lamp, like how it's like kind of ridiculous. It's kind of like that sort of humor where it's like it's almost as if like a kid is telling the story, right? In this one, but the thing in 8-Bit Christmas is that fucking who is the main
Neil Patrick Harris?
Neil Patrick Harris's character is telling about this event,
his daughter,
this dramatization really of this event to his daughter, where in a Christmas Story Ralphie is just narrating it for you, right? Like he's like, it's not like he's telling it to someone else, so it actually feels a little bit more heartfelt, where like a Christmas Story is a Christmas Story is fun. I've kind of stopped watching it for Christmas. I'm tired of it.
I love it.
It
doesn't feel like Christmas to me without it.
So
and even if I don't finish it, I didn't finish it at all this year. Like I watched like bits and pieces of it.
I was gonna say no one watches
on Christmas.
No one watches.
I didn't watch it in its entirety.
Yeah, I think like the only way I can watch it is like the typical, like it's on cable and it's just being played 24 hours a day, because there is something about just keeping it on your TV and just catching bits of it throughout the entire
passing
day.
In and
like,
out.
It's not sitting down and watching it. Like I don't think people that like sit down and watch that movie are doing it wrong. I'm sorry.
I don't think I've ever done that. I never just put in the Blu-ray.
I did it once.
I do have.
Yeah, like I've done it
and
once.
just be like, I need to watch this now. Like that's Home Alone for me, because I love Home Alone.
Yeah.
As just a movie, but like also a Christmas movie. But like A Christmas Story it's good because it just feels tradition, and I'm a big tradition guy.
Yeah, I would say like instead of having a Yule log or like a fire in the background for my ambient noise, I want it to be a Christmas Story. Like I just want to hear them yelling at Ralphie while I'm like eating ham or something. I actually do have another Christmas movie that I watched for the first time. Justin and I both did. And that was National Lampoon's Christmas. Christmas Vacation. I've never watched it before. This is the first time I'm watching it.
You're insane. There's no chance.
No, I promise.
You have never watched
I've never watched it.
Vacation.
I've never watched a Christmas. I almost glanced over it too, but
I mean, I didn't watch it at all this year, but that's insane that you've never seen.
I've never watched it because that was the thing is like Jess started playing it because we. So I will say, and this is one reason why I married Jess is like we do try to watch movies that we just haven't watched before. Like we it's kind of like you and me with music and movies. Like we try to like watch stuff that we haven't. Like it's so easy to get caught up in just like the stuff that makes you feel better or like that repeated watches of like The Office and shit, right? Like it's just like, we know it, like we want all the beats, we want to feel the things. And she started playing it and I was like, oh, I've never watched that. And then she's like, oh, we'll watch it later. So we did. And I don't know how I feel about it. I think
it's severely overrated, but I do really like it.
I think that's probably the best way. It is extremely overrated because I went into there like no one will shut up about like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. There's some fun parts in it for sure. I enjoyed like some of the hijinks, but I definitely am like second hot take of today. I don't think it's a certified Christmas banger. I've went this long with I've went like 30 years without having ever watched it, and I think I'm fine with not watching it every year. I think I could.
I don't disagree with that, but it's too much
Christmas.
Part of the.
I would put 8-Bit Christmas ahead of it. I'd put 8-Bit Christmas above it. I also
8-Bit Christmas does not have the cultural Christmas in the stranglehold as that movie does.
I don't care about the culture.
In this case, it matters. Okay.
What? White
yeah, do you see 8-Bit
mayonnaise?
Christmas at the Christmas stores? No, you see shit from National Lampoons all the goddamn time. Same with The Christmas Story. That's the reason that movie will never not be a Christmas movie.
I'm not saying that it's not a Christmas movie. Okay, I'm not saying that it's not a Christmas movie. I'm saying for me that I do think it's overhyped. And I don't know. I guess if I would have grown up with it, it would be like a certified Christmas banger for me. But if we were going to make a list of Christmas bangers, like that list, I would argue heavily against putting National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I would give you an argument if it was Klaus or something, but 8-Bit, no, get out of here with 8-Bit.
Well, we've already determined Klaus is on that list.
Yes, and I like 8-Bit. I just think it looks like shit.
It does. I think the problem
it has zero personality in the look of it.
In the look of it, like it's shit. It's that Netflix look, like Netflix original.
It looks
actually thinking about that now because this is a Max one. I think it's just like that if you are like a streaming service and / production company, I think there is some company out there, probably Sony, where they're just like start your own production company like kit. And they all use the same fucking lights, the same fucking cameras. And then they just like ship it out to you in one nice little package. Cause like you can put 8-Bit Christmas as for like visually up against like every, I would say most of like the Netflix library, and it's like it has the same contrast. It has the same color like mixing.
It would
like
it looks good grading. As like a YouTube original or something like a YouTube.
I would say it's on the same level as like high end YouTube videos, which I'm not knocking YouTube videos. Get your grind, like that shit, fronting that bill yourself if you can find. Bro, I would buy a fucking box, like make your own high quality production, but like how is Netflix not able to like afford some fucking I understand they're like it's a production company and like Netflix, like there's a difference between the two, but like these are Netflix originals. They're fronting the bill for the production of this. Like why are we using probably like a souped up handy, it's not a souped up handy cam, it's a nice quality like digital camera, but they feel, I don't want to say soulless, but they feel very generic.
No, that's a good word. I think soulless is a good word for it. It feels soulless.
To say it's
even though the movie had soul to me, it did.
The movie has soul, but
visually,
but like if you compare it, you just watch Carry On. If you compare that to Carry On, they probably have the same, like again, it's like the contrast kind of looks the same. It's kind of like AI art where AI kind of looks the same, like no matter what, like you can tell because like it doesn't know how to deal with lighting that well. There's like some very obvious thing about like these streaming production like studios, streaming network like production studios that like look the same. But 8-Bit Christmas absolutely has soul. And I would say the reason why I wouldn't put Christmas Vacation on there is because like I'm not here for funny Christmas. There's some, but I want like, I still want some like feel good like family, and I didn't get that from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's just like hijinks the whole time, which is fine. But and that's so I want to like go too far into that. That was the roundup. That was everything I've watched this year.
I ended mine on.
I think next year we will do like a whole episode of like
like
this episode.
We'll go ham on Christmas
we have a bigger thing to talk about today, so we're not going to congest this whole episode.
Well, hey, I have a transition to that.
Okay.
So Home Alone, who was it directed by?
Christopher Columbus. I know what you're about to say too.
You know what movie he produced this year?
This one we're about to talk about, because I was in the theater watching it and I saw Chris Columbus on there. I was like, what? You would? And I was like, not. And that's what makes this movie
him
a
and
Christmas.
His daughter, I guess.
That's why this is a Christmas movie now.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it the day after Christmas, but yes. What movie is that?
So this week we will be talking about and spoiling the ever living crap out of. So you have been warned 3 times now. You cannot. It's your fault if it's spoiled for you. We are talking about Nosferatu by the one and only Robert Eggers, a Some Damn Movies favorite, by the way. We are big Eggers fans here.
Yes.
And I still just can't believe that was made by that Chris Columbus was on the
and his daughter. Yeah, supposedly after the VVH, they got a whole he just liked it, I guess. I guess they have like a production company or something where they do like first time and like second time directors and stuff. So that's how I think they got a hold in some way, even though this is his 4th feature.
So I will say we're gonna kind of go through. I think
it's more of a respect thing at this point.
Yeah, we're going to try to streamline our thoughts on these. I feel like we are kind of erratic when we talk about these. I'm definitely terrible about that, and I did not make this easier. But what you're talking about is this is some good stuff you're talking about. So let's start off with, what do we think? What are your thoughts? Just your general thoughts on Nosferatu. What did how when you walked away from it after the 132 minutes that is this movie? What'd you think?
Well, the last shot stuck with me a little bit. It was the first thing I thought about right after the movie, obviously, and it was the one that I took to the bathroom with me because I had to take a piss after. Because I didn't want to miss a second of that movie. It was that shot, and then a lot of it was just like shots in my head. Like I couldn't get them out of my head because they looked. This movie was so filled with so much beautiful lighting and cinematography, the mood, the tension that you would get, even from that short little cold open, the stinger, where you first kind of see Count Orlok, and you get basically what's going to happen the rest of the movie. And I was already sucked in right at the stinger at the beginning, and then there were some points I think in the beginning that was a little bit boring, like. I was thinking about this a lot. Like, I hate, but at the same time, I understand why we say things like, this probably isn't for this person or something like that. Like, I can see why you don't want to say, hey, go see Nosferatu or The Witch or something like that. But, like, I think Eggers needs to be seen by a lot of people because he's so amazing at what he does, because he builds this world. I was sucked into this world immediately because of the attention to detail that he constantly puts in these movies. And this movie is obviously a culmination of, this is his 4th one, so he has the experience under his belt. And this is the movie he's wanted to make as a kid, was Nosferatu. He's always loved this story. And you can tell the love that he had because like the costumes, the visual effects, everything just sort of stuck hard with me. And I don't know, overall I really love this movie. I think I need to see it again to really dive deeper into it. So like a lot of the stuff that we'll talk about today is just like obviously immediate reactions. It's a couple days after. And yeah, I mean, really, it's just another Eggers banger for me. It's not my favorite of his. I think that still probably holds with either the Witch or the Lighthouse.
Okay. So for me,
and it's a little bit more fresh in your head, right?
Yeah, this is. I mean, I just went and saw it yesterday, right? So again, today's the 29th, so I went and saw it. Yeah, it's only been out for 4 days. This is my favorite Eggers. This is my favorite.
Oh, wow.
My favorite Eggers movie. Now again, the way I have this like kind of structured in my head is like we'll go into like some high points, like are like 3 things that you really like about the movie or liked that, like you kind of mentioned a couple, and then we're going to talk about how it compares. But like as far as this film, it is my favorite Eggers movie. Compared to The Witch, compared to The Lighthouse, which he has other one. Oh, and The Northman.
Northman, yeah.
I think that this one, the reason why is because this is the most palatable like story that he's written, where it's like very streamlined. It definitely feels more like a play. It feels like it's more streamlined is not the word. It's just more like I hate to say it. Well, no, I don't hate to say it. It has the traditional formula of just like story writing. Like it does. He's not trying to reinvent story writing with this. Like I would say like right like oh god, this is gonna
well, everything about the original movie is basically the same movie.
Yeah,
there's a couple
so
like
I haven't
things,
watched
but
the original.
He didn't go too far away from the original.
And I would say to the point, it also like it felt like a love letter to the tale of Nosferatu. I don't think he was trying to like make it. I mean, he made it his own, but he didn't want. It felt like again, like the opening shot, or not the opening shot. There's the part where what's his face? What was his name? Knock, the one that was
Knock, yeah.
He was the one, the crazy one, right? So that was for all intents or he was the boss of the boss of Nicholas Holt's character Thomas, and he sends him to Count Orlok's castle, and because Count Orlok he's extravagant. He's going to buy this, dilapidated house, this property that they own, because they're like a property management.
Pretty much a real estate agent.
I would say more like in a brokerage, because they do stock. Yeah. Probably did stock too. They manage property equities. So he's going to go and sign over. Have Count Orlok sign the papers, but like there's this shot where he's like showing him where he's going, where Thomas will be going, and he moves his hand across, and it's like this close-up shot on a map, and he moves the papers and he just like points to like where it's at, and you see Transylvania. It's like it's like right, like because it felt like it was alluding to itself, and it like knew what it was. It wasn't trying to not be itself. And I feel like it embraced what we know of Nosferatu, Count Dracula. It felt like it was wanting to, maybe celebrating it is a little dramatic. It appreciated what it was.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed that about this. So I want to move us into, now that we've kind of gotten our like thoughts, we're gonna end up going into like more of this, right? I want to talk about like a couple of like moments that like stood out, or a couple of things that stood out in this movie that like I walked away from and was like surprised / impressed with. You had mentioned like the ending scene. I think the ending shot was really cool. I liked that, but
beautiful and like grotesque at the same time.
It was very weird. Like the lighting, it was a very weird lighting setup. Like it was grotesque but beautiful. Now this is just
what
more,
this movie is.
This is actually more. This is actually beside. It's not beside the movie, but Nepo baby complaints aside, I went into this like Lily Rose Depp. Okay, so like I watched The Idol and was like, I think people like were being a little dramatic about The Idol. Like I feel like Euphoria was way worse, but like I was like, okay, Lily Rose Depp, Robert Eggers. She is one of the mains, right? She crushed it. I don't care how many people that like Johnny Depp. If you people are probably gonna be like, oh, like Johnny Depp, she wouldn't have had it without yada yada. I'm gonna go ahead and be a little you know, I'm gonna play some defense right here.
Okay, go ahead.
Not that she really needs it, nor I don't know if people. I thought she crushed it. There was specifically the part where, the scene where Thomas and her, like, she's possessed and she tells Thomas that pretty much like he doesn't fuck her like how Orlok does. That whole scene where she like rolls her eyes back into her head and she's like going fucking nuts. I thought that was great. Like that was awesome. Like I thought that performance. So like that was the part where she started doing the freaky shit where I'm like, this would be the, like you're acting your ass off kind of right now, and I'm like into this. Or like
I was gonna say. Yeah. I agree with that. I think the physicality of her performance was very good. I think that was the best part of her performance. I think outside of those moments where they're like out on the water or whatever, talking and shit like that, or just like doing the normal like dialogue, I thought she was a little weak in that. Like I wasn't super impressed with her performance that way. But luckily most of the movie is like her having to do a lot of the physicality in it, and I thought she hit it out of the park with it. Like there's a lot of, she was asked to do a lot.
Yeah.
And I think she did really crush it overall.
She really doesn't have that, when I say that much experience, what has she been in?
She has like nothing. Yeah.
I mean, she has a couple, right? Like, so we're talking about like, yeah, she had Tusk, The King with,
she did stuff with
Chalamet. Everything
Kevin
else,
Smith.
well, yeah, because Kevin Smith and Johnny Depp, like they were next door neighbors. Like I think they went on there and talked about how like Lily Rose and Kevin Smith's daughter like grew up together. So I say that just like, you know, she went from fucking yoga hosers to Nosferatu.
Working with Robert Eggers.
Working with Robert Eggers. Like
on his baby. This is his baby. Like he's wanted to do this movie for so long.
Yeah, so yeah, the physicality of it, I can give you maybe I still think her performance was fine. Yeah, sure, maybe it wasn't I don't know. Maybe I'm defending.
I just think out of the other actors, I just thought she was
out of the other actors, I would give you that. Like I would definitely say that out of the other actors, I didn't even know Aaron Taylor Johnson was going to be in this. But man,
it's funny. That's what Tony and I were talking about every time.
Like Aaron Taylor Johnson, like put out fucking Kraven the Hunter and Nosferatu at the same time. One of them's a fucking banger of a movie and the other one's Kraven. Is that?
And he's good in this too. I thought he was great in this movie.
Yeah, he did great.
He was probably one of my favorite roles.
And I would say, like, to the point of like Lily Rose Depp's acting, it's like if you compare her to like the people surrounding her, like, do you think she acts as well as Willem Dafoe? No. Like,
which again, another great performance.
Another great performance. I kind of something dawned on me with this one though. He has like. And it's because of his voice, I believe. He can't help it necessarily, but like Willem Dafoe kind of plays Willem Dafoe in most films, or at least it's hard for me to not be like, oh, that's Willem Dafoe. Yeah. Which, like, if you compare him to someone like Gary Oldman, which is also, you know, in light of like Bram Stoker, right? Because he was Dracula in that. It's kind of a shame that, like, I say a shame. The acting was great. But like whenever Willem Dafoe plays a character, you're like, oh, that's Willem Dafoe. Like no matter what, which kind of sucks, especially when he like has such great performances like The Lighthouse, which we're not gonna go into that too far. Like we're gonna get this done, but like I feel like almost like he is such a character and so distinct and so like recognizable that it almost plays to like his detriment. Not much, but like it's still like for me, I'm like, oh, it's Willem Dafoe. This is a movie, but this movie felt like a play. Like I felt like this was extremely digestible. I would actually say if anyone was like, I would like to check out Robert Eggers, I would steer them to this movie over any of the big four.
Oh yeah,
like 100%, way more.
It's definitely the most accessible, I think.
Oh,
even though it's still his weirdness in it. But yeah, I would say it's a lot more commercial, I guess. I think the Northman was the one that started that for him because it was another like it was. Probably,
I mean,
think it was the biggest
essentially
budget
Macbeth,
he's had,
right? Like it kind of reminds me of Macbeth.
But it was like his. I think I want to say it was his biggest budgeted film, and that's probably what led him to this one. But like the Lighthouse is fucking weird.
Oh yeah, like okay, so I guess we'll kind of go into
and the witch is weird.
We're just gonna go ahead and hit all the points. So what I also wanted to bring up was like Bill Skarsgård. Is he gonna be like the next? Is he gonna be like the follow up to Andy Serkis? Because
maybe, I mean,
feel
we
like,
can let's.
I think
we
Bill
should talk about the
Skarsgård,
overall costume too.
I think Bill Skarsgård. As an actor, is good. I like him.
Yeah.
But the moment you tell him to play some like horrid creature,
yeah,
like
he's like I'm Marlon Brando of this shit.
Yeah, like the thing is, back to like the Bram Stoker Dracula, like get kind of like a Gary Oldman comparison. I didn't know. I
couldn't tell the entire time.
Here's the thing. I did not. I think we've both talked about like a lot of people, right? Like we're trying to avoid spoilers. I don't want stuff spoiled for me. So like I stopped watching trailers for the most part. I don't even I've seen of Nosferatu like trailer wise was the cover. I know like that was like the original cover for this where it was just like on Letterboxd. It was literally just black with the text of Nosferatu on it. That was it. I didn't look into it hardly at all. I didn't even know Lily Rose. I didn't know any of these people were in it. It was actually very cool to go into this.
Which I'm jealous because I
only
think that's
knew
the best way
Nicholas
to do it.
Hoult. I knew Nicholas Hoult was in it. I think I did. That got spoiled for me. I knew nothing else. Am I surprised Willem Dafoe is in it? Not at all. Because him and Robert Eggers are like that, right? And I love it. I love that. My boy, Robbie boy, keep Willem Dafoe in your back pocket. I love it when you two come together.
Also, that one guy with the cool ass voice that was also in this movie. He was in The Witch.
Yeah.
He was the dad. His name is Ralph
Ineson.
Ralph Ineson. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was the dad, and he's fucking great too. Keep both of them. And then this movie when they're working together was great. Okay, we're all right. Hold up. Let's get through Bill Skarsgård. So Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, go back to him. Yeah.
I did not know that was Bill Skarsgård. I was like, is that someone I know? Who's playing Count Orlok right now? I had no clue.
I could tell. Like, I was like,
yeah, I mean, I didn't know him in it. Like, I didn't even know of Bill Skarsgård in it. But like looking at it now after having seen him and compared it to Pennywise, that's definitely him. But like, it's still a good transformation.
It was great. Which I guess It Chapter 2 was the reason that he got the role of
really?
Count Orlok. Yeah, because after I watched the movie, I always like to watch interviews and stuff, so I have some of the back knowledge of how this movie got made. But yeah, supposedly Bill Skarsgård, I think, again, after watching The Witch, which I guess a lot of people in Hollywood watched and fell in love with Robert Eggers or something, wanted to work with him. And basically, this was like 10 years ago, and they were trying to make this movie 10 years ago, and then it kept on getting pushed back. So he wanted to be in this movie, and I think he wanted to be Thomas Hutter. He wanted to be Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, and they kept on changing, and then supposedly Robert Eggers finally saw It Chapter 2 and was like, okay, I can see this. I can see him being our Count Orlok, and offered him the role.
I hope, one, that Bill Skarsgård was not offended by that, because it sounded like he wanted to be one of the main male roles, and he got denied it. That being said, he got the main one. He's Nosferatu. I feel like that's a glow up. That is you're literally the main antagonist. Like that is, and again, crushed it. Just fucking crushed it.
That voice, it was.
And are we standing this a little bit because we're Eggers boys? Sure.
Oh, of course, yeah.
These are fucking opinions too.
I don't give a shit.
So that being said, we're gonna come in here and just say, if you're liking this video right now, comment, subscribe. Make sure you go and review us on every podcast platform.
5 stars, please.
Look out for our regular content that comes out on all the, especially on YouTube, right? We have other stuff that comes out. We just like talking about movies. But I say all of this because if you don't like our opinion on Bill Skarsgård or any of this, Well, thanks for listening to it. I hope it doesn't make you too angry, and we can talk about it down below in the comments. I'll probably disagree with you, but as long as you're not a dick, we can talk about it. As long as you're not going to be like, wow, you guys have like the worst opinions. Maybe we do, but they're our opinions, and we're allowed to have them. And
there's far too many MCU fanboy podcasts that we'll never be there. No, thank you.
If anything, no, we can't even talk about the MCU in here because then we're just gonna get triggered and go into that. This is for our boy Robbie. This is for Bob Eggers right now. This is the rest of it for him.
Yeah.
So, man, Bill fucking crushed it as just
Nosferatu, Count Warlock. How do you feel about the costume and everything? Like the overall look of him, the mustache.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it because, so another thing, right, in the way they shot this, I loved how he was obscure for like the first half of the third of the movie. Like specifically when Nick Holt meets him, when Thomas meets him, he purposefully keeps Nosferatu out of focus. You don't see Nosferatu, and that's because Thomas is not looking at Nosferatu. It's because he's scared of him. He's unsure of what's going on right now. He just got these warnings from the gypsies. He's seeing weird shit that is coinciding with what his wife is telling him, and he is scared. So through the whole portion up until Thomas tries to kill Count Orlok the first time in his castle, he is like out of focus most of the time, and he's not being looked at, which I thought was just really cool. I thought it was and this is why we like Robert Eggers. This is why we like these like silly little art house movies, because it's like that attention to detail. Again, I'm not even the shots guy. I'm not even the production guy. That's the guy beside me. He's the one who gets a little chub whenever we start talking about
We're
this.
talking about chub and shots before the castle scene, the carriage scene.
Oh yeah, shit. Dude, that was
my lord. That 10 minutes. Oh my god.
Man,
I had a chub. Like it was horny.
The whole thing.
Still have the shot of like the forest or whatever, and like the backlighting and the silhouette.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so sexy.
When it just pulls up and there's no one in it, and then the door opens. Yeah. Oh man. I'll tell you what, Mr. Eggers just wants to get you going. He's getting you there. There's plenty of foreplay getting you ready to go, and I'll swear to God, you're gonna enjoy
we're glazing and suck on that Eggers
I'll
dong,
do
but
it. I'll do it.
Can we please? I as a video man myself, I need to shout out the cinematographer and like the editor who has been on.
Oh, actually, the editor. Yeah, we're gonna give him
the Eggers project is not just the man himself. He has a team of a couple people that he consistently works for. That like the look of these films would not be the way they are without these people. So shout out to those. I don't know everybody's names.
Let's look at the crew. So writer, editor.
Editor is Louise Ford.
So
who's been on all his movies?
Is Jaron Blaschke?
Jarrett, who's been on all his movies, even like his like short movies. Whenever he was coming up, this is like his ride or die. Right.
I wish, you know what we do. I think there's a lot going on here,
and I want to say the production designer is the same guy.
Can we? We just need to we just need, because especially in like the editing, there's the part again when Knock is giving the task to Thomas. And he does this in most of his movies too, but like they do this like very the straight on shot of like the subject, right? So it's like on Thomas, and then instead of having like a normal what do they call it? Is it just a 180 degree like a conversation shot,
reverse shot?
Yeah, shot reverse shot. Instead of doing that, it's like you have this straight on shot onto Thomas, And then Nock is walking around talking about, that's when he's talking about Providence and everything, and he's going on his diatribe with trying to withhold his excitement, right? He is very excited about whatever's going on, and you don't know why. It's a little unsettling, which having the straight on shot to Thomas to go and then be a straight on shot to Nock, but it's more just a full straight on like shot of where Nock is at, and Nock is just kind of walking around the room. Almost not really paying much attention to Thomas. He's kind of like looking through drawers and cupboards and looking papers. He's definitely more focused on just getting Thomas out of the door, and just talking about like the good things that should come from Thomas's adventure, the spoils, which they think is like a huge bunch of cash, where really it's the next step, having Nosferatu come to power, having him married off and becoming that. So that's just like one example, but like it's those kinds of shots that like where like, right, like good cinematography. And I was talking to myself about this as I'm leaving. It's like good cinematography is whenever you can, right, like cinematography in general is just being able to convey emotion and story through the use of cameras, right, through visual, just it's not even body language, it's just like the way you shoot a scenario or a scene conveys that emotion and and the feelings that like your character's going through, right? Like Thomas is feeling very rushed. He's like, this is, very sudden. He's late to coming and meeting him. Mm-hmm. And you can see where like he's a little not unsure, but it's just like all this is coming at him at once. And again, we brought up like shot, reverse shot. If you would have just done that, it would not have conveyed the same. It wouldn't have felt the same. It would have just felt like a normal conversation between two people, which isn't bad. I'm not trying to dog on shot, reverse shot. I'm just trying to say it technique is whenever we're trying to convey emotion through the use of a camera lens. This is the stuff that we seek out, that most audiences, like this audience, right, that we are included in, are going to this movie for, and going and seeking out Robert Eggers for. And
outside of just the cinematography, like obviously the cinematography is good, but the cinematography is kind of useless in the sense of like if the visual storytelling of what's on the screen is not there, and that right there is what Robert Eggers, I think, currently is the king at. He does his research. He's a nerd about this stuff. Like the costuming, the set design, like all of it is like on point. It transports you into that time and that location. It seems believable. It seems like you're watching a movie of what that time is, and that's hard to do. Like that right there is what is the difference between like an amateur movie and like a true auteur, somebody that cares about this, what's on screen. Like nothing is on screen is pointless. It's not like there's a book there that like is useless. It doesn't need to be there. What the hell is the point? And like the lighting makes sense in this. It doesn't seem like it's what we call sourcey, right? It doesn't mean like they just put a light there to illuminate a section of it. It just makes sense. Like for example, like the cool shot of Count Orlok on the sheets and stuff. That seems like it's all like natural, like moonlighting and stuff like that. Yeah. Such a cool shot too. I love that shot.
I
where like the curtains like sort of like waving in and stuff, and you just see the silhouette.
And you just see the silhouette. So cool.
I will say that my one complaint, like you didn't watch, like I went to the movies a couple times, so I saw some of the trailers for it. Luckily, they did a good job about not spoiling the look at all of Count Orlok, so I didn't know at all going into it. But the one thing I'm a little peeved about is the hand shot that goes over the town. I wish they didn't show that in the theater, which I know why. Like it's a cool shot. It looks dope. It's kind of sells you on it anyways.
Well, I
wish that was a surprise for me.
So this is okay. We'll go into the next part of this just because I am trying to keep this concise. Just concise for this part so we can go into something that's more. Anyway, well, I was gonna say more just sporadic, but so obviously this is this is the number 4 in the big 4 for Robert Eggers. Obviously, I just go on to say, because we are not like savants, right? Like he obviously has. It looks like he has like 8 total films. I have not watched Hansel and Gretel, Telltale. I haven't. Oh, I'd love to watch the Telltale Heart. His Telltale
These
Heart.
are all like his shorts and stuff.
Okay.
Before the VV is his debut.
Yeah, I knew the date. Well, I knew it was like his first big production, but I guess okay, if they're shorts, then they're shorts. So this is number 4 of his, and it is my favorite because of how digestible it is. So compared to The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman. The Northman is definitely probably number 2 as far as digestibility or just consumption wise. We kind of touched on it. What do you recommend by Robert Eggers if someone comes up to you? It's like, hey, I'm kind of getting into movies. I'm kind of like wanting to experience. Like I want to appreciate. I hate to say high cinema, just like movies is more of an art. It's something that's like, you're wanting to watch it for something more than just a roller coaster ride that is like a blockbuster, Marvel MCU movie, which they're fine, but they're roller coaster rides. And Nosferatu is the obvious pick for me.
I don't disagree.
The thing that Nosferatu I think benefits from greatly, that like The Witch and The Lighthouse, to their detriment, while they are great movies, they're ones you have to watch a couple of times because they almost need a translator. Like they almost do, because Robert Eggers,
especially
is
The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse, yeah, I think The Lighthouse is the worst one of the two. Which again, this is like a shout out to Willem Dafoe and holy shit, who played across from him in fucking
Robert Pattinson, baby.
Pattinson, yeah.
Good old Edward Cullen.
So, and it's funny too, because I'm pretty sure The Lighthouse takes place in a time that is more current or modern. Let me look.
Than anything else, I guess they've.
Yeah, it's in mysterious New England island in the 1890s, and this is definitely, I think, like 30 or 40 years before it. Nosferatu is. But the way that they talk, it's not that it's intelligible. You can tell it. I would actually say The Witch, right? The Witch is a lot harder to like follow, because it's like probably 17th century. Let me look. Yeah, 1630. So 17th century, and we're talking about some like old English. We're talking about like you have not heard this in a long time. So like it's almost like a movie you should watch at like 75% speed. And the thing is while I love that commitment to the time, to like being a period piece, it's an obvious barrier for people that just want to go and enjoy a movie, that just want to like see these shots, because like it's hard to. Again, I've watched The Witch a couple of times. I've watched The Lighthouse a couple of times as well, I believe, too. The Northman I've only watched once, but The Northman was, I thought, a lot more. I don't remember having that problem with watching The Northman.
The Northman's similar to Nosferatu, where I think it's a little bit, let's say, for the sake of talking, it's like more mainstream than
like just the accent, like the accent.
Yeah, it's like it's a little bit more accessible, but it's because like these ones are probably his more like Hollywood like big budget stuff. Like obviously the VVH was
Sony,
like,
wasn't it?
he had to get funding for. I'm sure The Lighthouse was probably more low budget. Like it's one location. A difficult location, but like and it's shot in black and white, blah blah blah. The Northman has a little bit more color than obviously that one, and probably his other films, I guess. I mean, I would agree. Like Nosferatu, I probably would suggest first. Like my mom went and saw Nosferatu with me, Tony, and my mom and her man, and they seem to like it okay. Like you can tell a little bit. They're like, this is kind of weird. Like it felt like they weren't fully sucked into it, but they didn't hate it. Like it felt, if I showed them The Lighthouse or something, they'd be like, no, because it's weird, and they would like, I don't get it, or something like that, which is fine if you don't get it, whatever. Like you don't always have to dissect a movie, but And I don't even think Nosferatu is a movie that you really need to dissect like The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is definitely really about like isolation and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah, it's like isolation, really, kind of paranoia, right? Like these two men are on this island for X amount of months, right? It's from like them being like from feeling isolated to going to eventually distrusting each other, right? Like they find company in one another, and then all of a sudden it's like you can't go to the lighthouse. Like that's like, you know, are you keeping secrets?
Which I would argue like Nosferatu, like story wise, like I'm not super like sucked into the story of it. Like I'm more sucked into everything surrounding the story versus the Lighthouse. It was a little bit of both. Like I was like into like their paranoia, their craziness that was happening.
How it's described, or how it's like the thing is like I would actually say like the story of the witch and the lighthouse. This is where I think the Robert Eggers directed by line kind of is more, while he doesn't have one, right? But like if he had one, the reason why you would go to those is because of how they're shot, because again, like while I'm complaining about like I can't really like listen to what they're saying and like know what's going on, he's making up for that. They make up for that a lot of the times through cinematography and through editing and conveying like the paranoia or the kind of like insanity that they're experiencing through their shots, right? Like, and that's ultimately what, especially in The Witch is literally like a fucking house, right? Like it's even like smaller in my opinion than the Lighthouse, because they moved because they were shunned from their community and they're just trying to make a living, right? And it's like this evil that seems to be plaguing them, this family, and they just want to grow crops and have a better life, and they can't find it. Like it's godforsaken earth, right? Which it has been a couple years since I've watched it. I should probably do my better. I should have probably watched all of them before going and seeing.
Yeah, that was my plan. Yeah, because I did want to watch the other. I haven't seen a lot of. I think the last one I probably have seen is the Lighthouse, and that still was quite a long time ago. But hey, next year is a little different for me, so I'm gonna be rewatching a lot of movies. And
you were on your
unique films. So,
unique films, 300 unique films. Which again, congrats to you for doing that. I would also go. I wanted to bring up. I think Nosferatu. What was also great is like it gave me like big black mass. Like this is why I like most of these movies. Like the whole like Nosferatu story, of like it's just a fun one to watch, and I still like this is a lot of what was in Nosferatu and what makes I felt like this was a great example of why the Nosferatu story is as interesting or as such a good horror story, because like I think the thing that comes to mind that I thought did this story well was different, but Black Mass. Like Black Mass was such a good miniseries. And
Midnight Mass, you mean?
Or Midnight Mass, yeah, my bad. Yeah. Midnight Mass.
By somebody I don't really enjoy that much, but
wait, what? I thought you liked Flanagan.
I could not get into Midnight Mass.
Oh, you couldn't? I thought you were a Mike Flanagan fan.
No.
You're not?
I absolutely hate his dialogue. Like there's so much exposition and like dialogue dumping in those movies and like monologuing as well. Like I just fucking hate it. I feel like in the first episode there was like a million fucking monologues in that show.
Okay, are you talking about Midnight Mass specifically? I thought because I thought you were a Mike Flanagan guy.
No, I don't really like Dr. Sleep that much. No.
What?
No.
Do we have? I don't think we've talked about it either. I thought.
Is this a Mandela effect thing? Like you thought I liked him? No.
No, I thought we talked about it because like you liked Dr. Sleep. I remember us talking about it. This is, you know what? I'm glad we started a podcast.
I don't hate it. Like this last time I watched it, I was like, it's okay. Like I'm impressed in the fact that like it could have been worse. Like I just don't like his writing style or whatever you want to call it. Like it's just too much for me. And yeah, no. I liked the first show he did, the Haunting of Hill House. I thought that one was pretty good, and I respect his horror vision. I think he's good, and I think he's one of the better horror guys working today. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really fuck with his stuff that much. I don't think he's bad. I just prefer others, I guess.
Okay,
I do follow him on Letterboxd though.
I think that Mike Flanagan is one of the best in horror. Not everything he touches, but like Midnight Mass, or I can't say like he's not everything he touches. I think I do agree with his vision. I like his vision of horror. I really like Midnight Mass. However, it is a slow burn. It's probably the slowest burn because like everything comes to a head like in the last like 2 episodes. But a lot of it just comes, it's sort of all the themes. Again, I bring up like the Nosferatu thing. It's different. I just like that they stuck to like the lore of Nosferatu. Like it's not Nosferatu in there, right? Like they think he's it's a vampire Nosferatu like figure that is looked upon as Jesus, right? Because the preacher, the priest, he comes back and he's much younger, Monsignor, whatever his name is. And when he comes back, he comes back by the different name, but really it is their old Monsignor who went on a pilgrimage through like the desert, and he was found by this vampire, this creature. The creature then gives him his blood. He drinks it, and then he brings it back to this island that they live on, and he preaches, and he's infecting everybody with it. He's like, they're all taking communion, and he's been dosing all of the wine with this thing's blood. So like people that are like there's a girl specifically who can't walk because she suffered a gunshot wound by one of the locals by accident because he was drunk, and now she can walk again because like this creature's blood. So it was the gifts that like evil gave them that they like then find out that like this thing's ulterior motive is obviously to go and infect the entire world, which is what Nosferatu's goal usually is in this story. I love it a lot, I like it a lot, and I think that like it does it well. Just also like Guillermo del Toro did a show called The Strain, and it's definitely more action oriented, but he also kind of nails it too, because that's just like it comes to fruition. Like instead of zombies, you have these vampires. I think when people do it well, or like do it in I think those are very enjoyable ways. I think it's good. This movie rules. Midnight Mass rules. The Strain is pretty good too. If you want anything else like Nosferatu, I would recommend those two. I would recommend Midnight Mass first. The Strain is more of an action FX like film or show that Guillermo del Toro, I think, did the whole thing of. I'm not sure.
I'd love to talk a little bit, I guess, a little bit more about, before we head off on this subject and wrap it up, a little bit about, I guess, maybe your vision of what a vampire / Dracula looks like and what we're used to growing up versus sort of what he displayed here in Nosferatu. Like, obviously, a lot of this stuff I've watched, like, this year I've watched Interview with a Vampire, or no, it wasn't that. Was it that one? Yeah, Interview with a Vampire. I watched that this year. And like normally like vampires that we've seen in culture is like they're kind of sexy and romanticized, and they look human, right? Yeah. This movie, he went straight with like this is like essentially like a demon monster, like a creature with a little bit of like human elements to them. So yeah, I mean, like, I guess what sort of vampire movies did you love growing up a little bit, and sort of your vision there versus
I don't know if I ever, I'll be real, I don't think I ever really loved vampire movies. For some reason, the first one that comes to mind is an old Disney Channel movie called My Mom's like on a Date with a Vampire.
Oh my god, dude! I was thinking about that all fucking week.
I don't know why.
Like, that's low-key kind of one of my favorites, man.
It's what's her face from Sabrina the Teenage Witch is in it, and I just think it was funny. Mm-hmm. I like those shitty like Disney Channel movies. I'm very nostalgic for them.
I love them. Yeah, I think they're hilarious.
By no means are we comparing that to this, but
my mom dated a vampire or Nosferatu.
Yeah, but I would say I think the way I just enjoy vampire films, true, they have this like sexy glamour. It's not necessarily have to be sexy, but like that's how they're. Look, I'm almost done with A Court of Thorns and Roses. I know what these fucking ladies out here are wanting, and they are wanting like the Vampire Diaries bullshit. Like y'all are wanting to thirst over sexy vampires because you love your neck being bitten. That's a fact. Put it down. Like that's why like fucking a lot of vampire, not lore, but like commercial, like the mainstream vampire is viewed as the sort of as the
forbidden fruit.
Yeah, the forbidden fruit that you want. Like like Robert Pattinson, like Twilight popped off.
He can hurt me, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, but I kind of like it, right? And I think again, especially like comparing this to Midnight Mass or with Midnight Mass, not comparing it to. I don't think it's a good comparison because it's two different formats. One's more of a stage play like Nosferatu. And I will say, like, there's no reality where someone's going to tell me Midnight Mass is better than Nosferatu. Like, they are two different things, but like the cinematography and Nosferatu, like Midnight Mass has some good moments, but it still doesn't transcend being a Netflix miniseries for me. Like again, like it's good, it's not Nosferatu. But I do like the idea of like they're making it's steeped in a deal with the devil. Like it has that deal, right? Because the whole reason why this Nosferatu even starts, right, is because Ellen was feeling alone, right? And I think she had her like gift before Nosferatu, like before she met him or communed with him, right? But she because she said like she never had friends and her dad one day found her stripped naked and like she was a whore or something like that and she couldn't explain it. I want to say that I don't know if Count Orlok did that. That was one thing I was kind of confused about in her explanation, but the movie starts off right with Ellen calling out to not Nosferatu, just any celestial being. She's like
just to touch her,
just literally to touch me because like no one, like I have no friends, I am lonely, right? So she is desperate for just affection, for just any sort of attention. And Nosferatu comes to her and falls in love with her, and it's kind of like reverse. It's not forbidden fruit for him, I guess. At the end, like he does die because he succumbs to her fruit.
He gets the last nut, though.
He gets the last nut, but he does break his rules, and he stays. And the first cock crows, and boom, he's done.
Yeah, and then he shrivels up on top of her. Like
and then she dies right after.
Oh, by the way, how do you feel about the way they did the blood sucking? Normally in media that we see with vampires, it's to the neck, but in this movie, it's to the chest.
It hurt me. I hated watching it. It made me like, even thinking about it now, it just makes me like.
And then he's like convulsing like that, like. Yeah,
so the whole thing was like, it was gross. He would like bite on pretty much the heart, or at least like part of the heart, like the aorta or something, to like get the blood that way. And
it definitely like made it look a little bit more like what I guess he's trying to get across, like a little bit more animalistic. You see like the blood like dripping off his gross ass like stringy mustache. Yeah.
So I would say that like what I like about it is that like there is this deal with it is like steeped in the occult, like devilish, like pact, right? Because Knock, I don't even know how Knock came about. Where did I miss it? Like what? How did he? So like Knock has had to have been in cahoots with Count Orlok for
some time,
years,
right?
Like some time, because like
yeah.
he immediately knew what he was sending Thomas to, right? He was very excited for Thomas to go and start this process. So I don't know.
I mean, he's basically Renfeld, like in the classic, like Bram Stoker's.
Yeah.
He's basically Renfeld, like his employer. And shit like that. So, assumingly, probably for a while, you obviously don't know the full backstory of Knock, and I guess it doesn't probably really.
It doesn't matter, but it just makes me wonder. Like,
well, they do sort of like when they were like investigating his office, they pull the rug and they investigate the section and stuff. So yeah, they kind of like gloss over it a little bit. They don't really like fully explain like how long he's been into this and shit like that. But you kind of just pick up like, yeah, he's been on this for a while.
Yeah, I think for me, I just like the deal with the devil sort of like storyline. The fact that his goal is to infect and usually start like some sort of pandemic, right? He's unleashed a plague across this town, this Germanic town of Vilsef or whatever. And now the only way to stop, they're just trying to. I loved that the fact that the end of this movie was just Willem Dafoe and what's his face, Ralph Ineson. Just like this movie goes from like talking about it goes to like how do we stop Nosferatu. It's very much like it's like the most digestible and like not cookie cutter, just formulaic like storyline of Robert Eggers movies. It's literally like, oh, now we have to stop the bad guy. How do we do that? And it's like they have to go and get the occult professor that taught Ralph Ineson's character, or Wilhelm, Sievers, taught him everything, right? And then like the last half of the movie is just them trying to like study and figure everything out, and that was fun. That was like just a little freaking adventure. It was like
they weren't all fully on board because technically Willem Dafoe is like
he was ashamed, like he was brilliant at what he did, but he started going down the occult route when he started seeing things not. And
he was the only one that believed her. Like Aaron Taylor Johnson's like he doesn't believe it. Yada yada yada. Probably until the end. Like,
they're all skeptical, even whenever Franz like comes to talking about it and is like, no, you need to stop putting ether on her, like stop giving her ether, like she needs to be like lucent, or she needs to be like fully like here, not lucid.
And he's the only one that believes in the tales and stuff, and so like he's the one that ends up like figuring out like this is Nosferatu. This has been, people have been talking about him forever, yada, yada, yada. And then basically he's the one that has the idea of like tricking him. That's basically the end of the movie. Like, he sets it up with Lily Rose's Depp's character, and that she basically is going to sacrifice herself.
And she knew it too. That was the thing too. She knew. She was like, there's only one way to kill him. And he's like, I'm going to go take the boys. We're going to go act like we're doing something. But like you need to like get him into your room. And you guys need to bone one last time, and you need to make sure he stays there until the morning comes. Like, okay. And she's like, that sucks. I'll
take his dong, I guess, his creepy dong.
Like, I'll get filled in by him, and
which this movie has Nosferatu's dong in it.
Yeah, it does have Nosferatu's dong.
Which, please go to Nicholas Holt's Instagram if you want to see the prosthetic they use, because he had it like framed up and stuff. I guess he's keeping it.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, let's do final thoughts here. Like overall, like let's give our score and like any final comments.
Yeah, no, I gave it 4 out of 5, and I liked it.
What didn't make it a 4.5 or a 5 for you then?
There's only like a couple things to get 5s for me, and if you're not the Lord of the Rings extended edition, you're probably not going to get it. I'll be real.
Okay.
I actually would probably give this like a 4.5, because I'd probably rate his other ones at like a 3.5 to 4. I say that just because it is so digestible, and I did just enjoy the ride. It felt like a just So again, especially it does drag a little bit in the beginning, but like I really feel like once they get the doctors in, and this becomes like a how to defeat Nosferatu story, I was strapped in. That's where it does feel more like a roller coaster ride, where it's like, let's get to it. And I just think the overall experience was just a really fun tale, a fun story that is almost a century old now. Isn't it a century old? Probably, at least.
It's Nosferatu, the movie from 1922, so that's 102 years old.
102.
And Bram Stoker's, I think it was like 18 something.
Yeah.
So the story of Dracula is obviously very old. And
yeah. So
he also in this movie incorporates a lot of like other folky, like that's his whole shtick.
He loves folk tales. Yeah.
Yeah. He loves tales, folklore, and stuff like that. And it's funny, earlier you said this felt like a play because like supposedly he put this on as a play as a kid. His mom was like a child theater person, like would put on child's play, and his dad was like a Shakespeare guy, so he has a lot of experience in that way. But,
I mean, it definitely feels dramatic. It definitely at times like this is not the Lighthouse, and that's good. Like it's honestly good. Like I hate to say it.
So overall, I agree. Like I gave this a 4 as well. Probably some of the same, I would say, complaints would be like I think it does drag a little bit. It probably is a touch too long for me. But every other aspect of the film I love, like the lighting, the cinematography, the sound I thought was awesome. What they did with Orlok's voice I thought was really menacing and awesome. I thought all the performances were very, very good. I'll give another credit to Lily Rose for like
the physicality.
I had a lot of judgment going into this with her. Like I was a little scared that she wasn't going to be very good, and I'm sure like a lot of people probably feel the same.
That's her uphill battle right now that's why like she can be like a nepo baby. You can say that all you want, but like everyone's taking that.
Everybody
energy.
in Hollywood are nepo babies, so it doesn't
matter.
That
and like the thing against her.
How many Skarsgårds are there?
Yeah, exactly. Right, like watch Dune. She has that going against her, and every movie that she does, people are going into like, ugh, Lily Rose Depp, like let's this is probably gonna suck.
But can she do the normal acting? I don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't really know about
again,
that
her
one,
physicality I thought was very expressive, and it made sense in this world, and I thought really added to it, and I was very impressed with it, and I thought that sort of clouded any judgment I had with the rest of her acting in this, and the other stuff wasn't like distracting or anything. So whatever, like she was good. Again, great direction, whatever you want to say. Editing was pretty good. Pacing was, I thought, pretty good. Like again, I thought maybe a little bit less runtime would have been better. And again, like the story, I wasn't like fully super invested in. I didn't care as much as I probably like got into the Witch or the Lighthouse, or even maybe to some extent the Northman. Would this be my top Eggers film? Probably not. I would probably fit it close to like third for me. I would still put the Lighthouse and the Witch over it, but next year I'm gonna do a rewatch, and we'll probably come back to this anyways, because I'm sure part of our challenge next year we'll probably put Eggers up here as one of those months to get through and rewatch them. But yeah, again, super enjoyable, and I've we already said, like, I think this is probably his most digestible film and super fun experience. I wish I watched it in IMAX, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I could see that, because like I would normally like kind of like beat away from that, because like usually I guess now on the other side of having watched Nosferatu, a lot of it, and it being fairly like a lot more dramatic than I had anticipated, a lot more like a play, a bigger screen for a lot of these shots would have been cool. I think, again, like I wouldn't think like, oh, Robert Eggers, I want to watch him on IMAX, right? Like that's not necessarily something that I'm like seeking out, but that could have been a fun watch in IMAX, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this one in particular, just some of the, again, like
a lot of big shots. He does have this Denis Villeneuve like establishing shots in some parts, like that carriage scene. Like we're talking about it, like going through the mountain up to his house or his his castle. Like that would have been a sick scene to watch on a
And they
on a
don't
big
cut
screen.
away. That's the glory of the editing in this movie is like they let things hold. It's
Yeah.
not like a super annoying action movie where it's just like constant. Like I don't need 90 cuts within a minute.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not Taken 3.
So like these type of movies, he lets you breathe on a scene and stuff like that, and it just sort of sets you in. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I think you should. I definitely think most people should watch this movie. I would say again, yeah, normies as well, if we want to call you that. Watch it. Like
I
will
would
be
say
fun.
just like a more I feel like we're normies. I know because like I am by no means
We're
an
intermediate
authority.
normies. Okay,
We're like intermediate normies. We do seek out different. We seek
like
out
art house type style.
more
films.
bespoke
Definitely.
or more like art house cinematic experiences because we do enjoy them. It's just really a matter of time and finding out about them. But by all means, there's someone out there that's like way more into it and it's like their full-time job. I can't compete with that. But
Yeah, that's our ending thoughts on Nosferatu. We can wrap this up. You want to talk about maybe anything else that you've watched outside of the Christmas season? Anything else maybe
what
that
have
you're
I
looking
watched
forward
outside
to?
of the Christmas season? I feel like there's some. We're watching Squid Game 2 right now, and
Okay.
it's honestly fun. I think Squid Game's fine. I just think everyone doing Squid Game stuff after Squid Game is what's annoying about Squid Game.
That was
Like,
very frustrating. Like you got the
Yeah.
Mr. Beast shit.
Well, like
and,
we're watching Beast Games too, just because like you have to, right? Like we just have to see what it's like. It is weird to go from like watching Mr. Beast on YouTube to a Mr. Beast on Amazon because it's the same fucking thing for
Yeah.
40 minutes, and he still like they still keep the same editing style where it's like everything has to be moving. It is exhausting to watch Beast Games. Because again, like you know how like erratic the editing is. Like we're talking about like action films where it's like they do all these jump cuts and like fast movements to like make it more impactful. Well, this is to keep ADHD ridden fucking kids engaged in their which also I mean just attention deficit human beings engaged, but do that for 40 minutes. And it's like sometimes it lets up, but it feels so dramatic for no fucking reason. Like they have like they're trying to be like honestly like kind of props to Jimmy because like he's over here talking about like how like these 1,000 people don't know each other. They keep acting like they do. They don't. There's 1,000 of you. Don't act like you're friends. But I'll tell you what, he's putting up people like they're friends. They're like they have these ties. They have an alliance. And it's like, dude, only one of you is gonna win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like there's situations where I was laughing and guffawing at like the first challenge they have on episode 1 is like, hey, I need to eliminate like a handful of you right now, so I'll pay you money just to like just to eliminate yourself.
I'm leaving.
I'm taking it immediately because they're like,
I don't
yeah.
think
it's like-
if it's $500, I'm like whatever.
yeah, no. So the thing is like Jess was like, oh, I don't know if I do it for 20 grand. I was like, what the fuck? You're literally your odds of winning.
You're gambling, girl.
Your odds of winning at the end of this game are literally 1 in 1,000. You have a 1,000th of a chance to win the $5 million. There was one dude that left for 20 grand, and I was like, you made the right call. And then, bro, some of the scenarios are fucking. It is actually a really fun watch, but it's not fun for the reason why Jimmy wants it to be fun. It's fun because you have like teams of 10 people. Like in this first episode, it's literally like he has them on a grid. Okay, so they're in rank and file, like columns and rows. And they just are pretty much giving like some people like one of the scenarios is like, hey, if someone we need to eliminate X amount of people, so like hit a button and I'll give you money, but everyone in your row will be eliminated. So you have people in rows and columns screaming at each other like, don't hit the button, we're not doing it. And they're doing all this dramatic shit like putting their hands in their putting their hands in their like shirt and stuff like we're staying together. And there's like literally one part where the guy at the end is like trying to like gas him up. The number gets to like 300,000, his ass just hits it. He just like hits it. Then everyone in the room's like, no, why would you do that? You ruined our life. And I'm like, I know why he did it. It's because he took $300,000.
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck all of you. Like, fuck literally all of you when it comes to like that. Oh man, and there's a couple other funny scenarios. I would actually recommend Beast Games because it is just interesting to see him go to like a 40-minute, 45-minute format and just carry everything over from like his 10-minute, like, you know, his YouTube ADHD editing.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
And
I still watch
funny.
it though, and I hate it. I hate that I watch it. And I kind of like it.
I hate that I watch it and kind of like it too, because the reason I kind of like it is because it's just appealing to my impulse, like that part of your brain where it's like, oh yeah, like you like just it's not for the good reasons why I like it. It's to the more like lower level. Like animalistic, like impulsive reasons, why carnal reasons, I guess. Like I
remember we watched because we watch his videos sometimes just to throw it on. It's just like whatever. We watched the one where it's just like the ages and stuff, like 1 through 100 or whatever. Yeah. And the entire time I'm like, I'm just taking the fucking money. I don't care. Like, why? I don't care about the other 99 people here, and I don't care how old the kid is. Like, if they're 5, they don't need $1 million. I don't give a shit. I'm taking whatever money I can get. I'm getting out of here.
Well, what's also interesting to it as well is like it would be a very hard edit and a very hard production to do it on the scale that he does. So when he's trying to write these storylines, you can tell he has to, you can't tell, you know, he has to do it on the fly. Mm-hmm. And honestly, there's no reality TV producer that could do it. Like he kind of redefined, not redefined, but like, man, there's one guy right now that's like very religious and is like, in one scenario, they all had to, like, they split them into like 5 teams and their leaders went up to, and they were told that your leaders now, of course, after they've elected them, have the ability, like, they are going to be tempted with money. So like there's a maximum amount and they can take it. And if they take it, they take it, your whole team's eliminated and they get to stay. So there's literally no reason why you wouldn't hit the button, right? Because you're walking away with cash, which, right, objectively is the thing you would do. I would fucking write off everyone on there, dude, because the thing is, it got up to, I think, $3 million. They're fighting for $5 million. Mm-hmm. No one hits the button. So once it gets up to like 3 million or something, then it goes down and it's like you have a second chance to hit it. But again, if the leaders don't hit it, then the whole team stays. But if they do, they stay, and then the rest of the team goes. And so they're like trying to make these storylines with like this religious dude that's like, God's with me. I'm not going to do that to my team. I'm a better person than that. And I'm like, bro, I'm like thinking to all of them, like, I was like, you are all stupid. I'm like, this is why, like, right, because the thing is, too, it dawned on, like, Jess, where she was like, I didn't realize the Beast Games is just a play on Squid Games. And it's like, yeah, it's because, like, that's what, like, kind of made Mr. Beast, was, like, his Squid Game video.
Oh, and that thing was big, too, yeah.
It's hard, this is kind of, like, outside of movies, but, like, what have we come to as humans? Because, like, the thing is, like, I just feel like there's no objective reasoning or something, right? Like, there is only one winner at the end of the day. You don't know what happens between here. I don't care what God you're talking to. You were offered $3 million and you decided not to take it because you're saying, like, you're a better man. Dude, like, I would divorce you. I would I'm telling you right now, if I was his wife, if you were offered $3 million, not only $3 million, but then, like, you would stay in and have a chance at 5, I'm divorcing you. I am divorcing you. I would do that. That's honestly. Insane. I would do that. I think I would do that over $100,000. I would be like if Jess went on to Beast Games, I shit you not, and she's like, I had the opportunity to walk away with like $50,000, but I would have had to have voted off everybody, but I would have still had a chance at 5 million. I'd be like, it looks like Dakota and I have to go, like, we're leaving now. I'd be pissed.
We're gonna get some cigarettes and milk. We'll be right back.
We're gonna go get cigarettes and milk. Have fun. Like, I'm just like, why would you? What do you mean? You wouldn't do that. Like that's just, it's not even the fact that like the money. I want to be clear about it too. It's not about the money. It's like I thought I was a degenerate gambler with like my Magic the Gathering thing. You've got to be a real degenerate gambler and on some like fucking smooth brain, low vibration kind of shit. Like if you like just don't take that. What?
Yeah, but is that not kind of the entire story of Squid Game? Which, again, I want to point out, I've pointed out before in the past, like, and probably plenty of people, it's kind of against the point of Squid Game that Jimmy even made that video after Squid Game and got as big of a success as he did. Because the entire point of Squid Game is
preying on fucking poor. It's like preying on poor people. It's literally like these poor people.
It's about it's class division.
It's literally taking like a lower
anti-capitalism.
caste of people that are indebted, that are because they're all indebted, and some for like for good reason, right? Like they just financial hardship. Others for being degenerate gamblers, like 4, 5, 6 or whatever is Huan Song. I forget. It's Jin Hoon, I think maybe. They call him 4, 5, 6 the most, but. Like he got in there because he's a degenerate gambler. Like it's like they're preying upon it. Again, it's just like they're preying upon like people's impulses. And I'm a very impulsive dude. Again, I'm out here like I'll buy, bro. I love me some Magic, but there's like a level to where it's like
camera gear.
Yeah, there's a level of it to where it's just like, dude, is this real life? Like you would really like and the thing is though is he edits a lot of this, so I don't know what's actually going on. Obviously there's controversy just around Jimmy and Mr. Beast, so who knows what the real edit looks like. But yeah, man, some people are just, and that's why you watch it. You're not watching it because it's like a compelling competition. You're watching it because like you're trying to look at the mental gymnastics that people put themselves through to not do the thing, and then they're like really surprised when they get burned. Like again, Homeboy in the first episode, that's like they offered $20,000 and he's like, yo, I've got like bills to pay. Like my family needs this money. Like, and he hits it. I'm like, absolutely, King. Absolutely. That was the right choice.
Yeah,
because
I'm not
everyone
wasting my
here,
time anymore on this fucking episode.
Yeah,
bro. I'm getting out of here.
There's only one winner at the end of this. You got offered $20,000, and then like the total kept going up. Someone took like $500,000. I'm like, yes, we have smart people. I would only be there day one, 100%. I'm only there day one, hitting the fucking button.
I already know because he always like. Every video, he's always trying to get people to get the fuck out, and so he's always offering the money. I'm gonna be the first one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. I want 5 figures. If they offered me 10,000, people they'd be like, "Well, you could have had 100,000." It's like, no, I might not have though. I could have had 0. You want to know how many people are probably walking away with 0? Probably like 900 of them.
Bro, I'm doing it probably for a snack too, dude. Like,
I would be like,
we got a bag of Five Guys out here if you just leave now.
Honestly, like, because he
get me a Red Bull, I'm out right now.
Yeah, like honestly, I just go up to Jimmy like, hey, are you trying to eliminate people? And if he's like, yeah, it's like, hey, like I'll hit this button for like 20K.
Bro,
20K right now with some Five Guys, like I'm done.
Yeah, give me some sush. Like, I'm out.
Like we're good.
No chance. Yeah.
And that's why I would recommend it, because it is just nuts to see people, the mental gymnastics that they put themselves through to justify either not hitting the button. Like literally you watch 100 people leave because a ball drops and then they drop it, or like they don't pick it up. Like we're talking about like they like leave for very stupid reasons, and then you can tell they're like, I'm kind of stupid for not having taken like $20,000. And it's like, of course you are, you fucking degenerate gambler. Which I am a degenerate gambler. I love Magic the Gathering and I rip collector boosters like it's no one else's business. But I'm at least smart enough to know like, hey, I'm taking that.
And I gamble my finances on lighting and video gear I don't use consistently. So
that's another one too. My But at least I don't own NFTs.
Yes.
Right? Like that, like this is like the epitome of like being scammed on like Bitcoin. Right? It's like, I would say like Bitcoin's whatever, but like, it's like you could have put that money in the S&P 500, but instead you bought a meme. You bought Hawk Tuah coin, and you got rug pulled because you thought that you were going to make a lot of money, right? It's like that's what the Beast games are. But anyway, I just took up way too much time on that.
That's
sorry.
okay. I'll be quick about. I have 2 suggestions, and they're both documentaries. I would say overall, like the main subject, I would say it's kind of similar, where it's like people are just sort of telling their story about how much this person meant to them. So the first one I'll say it's Dear Zachary, a letter to a son about his father. So this is like a best friend making a story to his best friend who has been murdered. His son's just sort of trying to tell the story about his father through documentary. It's done through this like rapid like style in some cases, where it's just like fast talking, and you hear the creator's voice over it sometimes narrating it and stuff like that, but a lot of the times it's just sort of the different like family members and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of twists and turns, and it's very fucking sad towards the end as well, but there's also like some positivity towards the end with the parents and stuff like that, so definitely would suggest that one. It has a 4.4 on LETTERBOXD, if that matters to anybody. It's pretty good. Like stylistically, it was a little different documentary than I've seen, as well as this one called A Remarkable Life of Ibelin. This one I really like as like a gamer and somebody that likes WoW. So this is about a kid that has Duchenne's disease, which is like a muscular disease that your muscles just get weakened over time, and like the life
they
expectancy
advertised
of these people.
This one at My Regal, because they're doing Blizzard's doing some like secret or some Revan pack donation thing for it. Yeah,
so it's about a kid that he obviously felt trapped in his handicap, and he found friends that I guess he didn't really know right away over RPing in WoW and stuff in this guild that he was a part of for a long time, and like sort of the impression that he had on a lot of people and the help and stuff through his kindness and stuff despite his handicap and stuff like that. And it's after the fact, so he's obviously dead, and his parents found his blog. Well, they knew he had a blog, and they basically posted his final like goodbye on it and stuff like that, and said, hey, if you want to email us anything, yada yada yada. And they just got flooded with emails. They weren't sure, because they were kind of just like most parents are like, oh, you're spending all your time in video games and stuff like that, why don't you experience life? But like it was hard for him to experience life because of how he was, and so he got to experience life within this game. And it's really nicely done. Like they incorporate some of the like game animations within the movie and stuff, so it's really nice. Like it made me tear up a couple times. Netflix, actually, it's streaming on Netflix.
Okay, because that one sounds more positive. That one sounds a little more uplifting than Dear Zachary.
It's on Amazon. Yeah.
I will probably end up checking out both. I might check out the World of Warcraft one tonight.
The Dear Zachary, you do get hit a lot with just like some crazy shit.
I don't know if I'm ready emotionally. I will say
overall at the end it is positive. But
like is positive, is it a relative positive? Like, wow, we were like, right, because like it could be like relatively positive, but like if you're talking about like it was at like
they took a lot of negative and made a positive,
and then like you're at the end of it you're at -2, like you're still negative, like a positive.
Yes, it's a lot of negative, but they make a positive out of the end of it. It's I don't know. It's like it was interesting, and I really enjoyed it. And I didn't watch a lot of documentaries this year, so I went back to back on those. Also, I suggest watching the Timothy Chalamet Nardwuar interview.
I watched that too. That was
very, very wild. I think he was under the influence.
I think that was one of the worst Nardwuar interviews I watched. Well, no, because it was just, maybe he was under the influence, but like he's like, I know they're usually plugging stuff, right? Like it's obviously for them to do the rounds. And I like Nardwuar a lot. Like I like his interviews, but like this one felt like it was very, he's definitely out here like plugging.
He's hawking that movie, dude.
Like he's hawking it. Like, and the
thing is, on College Game Day hawking it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like it felt like I would almost say he probably wasn't. Like they probably told him, like, hey, we got you a Nardwuar interview and you're gonna go and hawk and talk about this Bob Dylan movie. And I was like, no real, like I haven't seen a Nardwuar interview where it was like that that heavy on it. Like
I didn't have a problem with it because you can tell he was a Nardwuar fan.
Oh yeah, I mean I liked that, but like I'm saying, like I wanted more Nardwuar. I wanted more like Nardwuar bringing up like. I wanted it to be more about Timothée Chalamet, like right, like if I watched the Chaperone one, of course, like that came out before his too.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah, and it's really like it's not promoting shit. It's just like they're just literally interviewing Chaperone and talking about just giving you more information on the artist, right? Where this with Timothée Chalamet, I felt like I didn't walk away from it having been. Like,
I can see that.
Having like learned anything about Timothée Chalamet, like you watch the Nardwuar interviews because of how much that he finds out about Timothée Chalamet or about the subject, and how like caught off guard they are with like how do you know that, right? Hell, even with Kai Cenat, dude, like the Kai Cenat interview, he went like so deep on, and Kai was even like, how the fuck do you even know this? Because like it's Kai Cenat, we have to know, but. Yeah, I mean, as an interview, it was, I guess it was a feasible, a workable interview about The Great Unknown or whatever, the Bob Dylan.
A complete unknown.
A complete
Bob
unknown.
Dylan, which I'm not interested in at all.
Nope, I'm not. I don't care if Timothée Chalamet.
I'm tired of biopics.
I'm tired of musician
so
biopics specifically. Like after like the fucking Bob Marley, like it's literally like fucking Bohemian Rhapsody came out and like I'm done. I'm fucking done with them all. So I'm sorry, Timmy. Like, I have no fucking interest in watching A Great Unknown.
One last thing too. I did watch, and we'll talk about this in the future more when we get more into Oscar season. A Different Man, which I've been pretty.
I do want to watch that one.
Excited to watch. It is on sale to rent, so I rented it off of Prime for $9.99.
Okay.
And it was definitely worth it. Again, if you know me, I love movies shot on film. So this one already grabbed me as soon as I noticed it was shot on film. There's just something about it I love. Visually, I think it looks dope. The makeup, I think, is really cool. Sebastian Stan kills it. I really like this one. We'll talk a little bit more about it in the future, but I definitely recommend this one.
I'll try to watch it. We'll discuss what next episode will be, but I think I do want to watch this one pretty soon though. So yes, that would be
and I started watching Juror number 2. I'm gonna have to restart it, but it is on Max, by the way. So
I don't know if I can bring myself to watch it. I'm so fucking over Clint Eastwood films. After the Mule, after
agree.
The fucking Mule, like I'm done. That was just like a grandpa power fantasy.
I think Clint Eastwood, when he's not in his own movies, are good.
Is he in The Juror?
No. This is Nicholas Hoult. He's in it. He's the main guy.
Yeah, I know that. And then you had what's her face? I'll think of her name.
Yeah, who's the cast?
It's not Anna de Armas. It's
Toni Collette's in it. J.K. Simmons is in it. Zoe Dush. Kiefer Sutherland's in it. Yeah, there's a couple people in it, and I guess Francesca Eastwood. So I guess that's like a child or granddaughter or something.
Yeah, like
But yeah, I'm gonna end up finishing that. Like Tony was getting into it, so I had to stop. But I'm gonna finish this one probably before our next episode. So if you want to watch that, that would be nice.
We'll coordinate it more. God, Juror number 2. I just feel like, like Clint Eastwood, bro. I'm so and it's fucking 114 minutes. God damn it. Which
Let's wrap her on up.
All
Thanks
right,
for watching episode 8. Thank you for listening to us talk about our new favorite Christmas movie, Nosferatu. As well as some other stuff. As always, please like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're on any of the podcast mediums, Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts rather, make sure you rate us. You can leave any feedback, whatever.
Look, you know you want to. We're gonna come out here. If you're at this part of the episode right now, why not? Like you're like an hour and 44 minutes into it. If you're telling me you didn't like it, then you must have hate watched it. So if you did,
that's true.
Tell me why you hated it down below. If you liked it though, I really appreciate you. Thank you for coming out here. We go through a lot just to record even this, right? Like there's like 5 hours difference between us.
Ian's a dad.
I'm a dad. I wake up early. My ass wakes up early so I can make sure I feed.
And I was the late one still.
Yeah. So you know what? We're putting in the effort for you. Like, comment, subscribe. There's other cool things on this YouTube channel too if you're watching it. Okay? You have Spicy Book Club. That's fun. Do you like reading? I do, and we'll talk about it there. Late to the Game. That's another one that I love because it's me going back through my video games that I just have not played, but I've owned for 12 to 15 years, so why not play those? We have whatever Jared's working on. He does the podcast, but like that, I love that Jared just, I don't know what he's working on, but I'm always looking. Challenge videos are like the main thing, right? But like,
that's my thing.
Yeah, he likes challenges. So he's cooking that up too. So here's the thing. There's something here for you. And if you're just listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever platform, guess what? We're going to be working on another one too. We don't know, it's tentative right now, but so you're going to get a little bit more too. There's no reason why, if you're here right now, that you don't like, comment, subscribe, and review us. There's none. None at all.
Not a reason. And follow us on Letterboxd, by the way.
Yeah, follow us on Letterboxd.
Mine is Letterboxd, you must follow me. That's the letter U, must follow me. And then we got I Wilder right next to me.
Yep.
Please follow us on Letterboxd. Ian needs to use it more, by the way.
I do. I'm very behind. I usually am. I've been very behind on a lot of stuff. I'm gonna update
I do it as
today.
soon as I exit the movie theater. If I'm in the bathroom taking a dump, I'm adding the movie there. I have lists on there. I love my lists. They're fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna be more active with it this year. I mean, I'm still like fairly active, but like I'm not like nearly as active as you are.
I'm at 411 for the year, so I zoom past my challenge. Next year, I'm trying for 500. Okay.
God damn, dude. Jesus.
Which I want to say is kind of nuts, given the fact that 2023 I made a list for all the movies I watched, and it was 163.
That's nuts, dude. I don't get. Goddamn. Anyway, we're just rattling on by now. Thank you again. We love you much. Do all the things. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Shout out Robert Eggers.